So the other day we collected data for our in-class regression. You should have access to your data set still. It looks like this. To kind of get started on this assignment, what I want you to do is I want you to take some of your data, we're going to copy it over and paste it on the right-hand side so that it'll be easier to manipulate in the way we want to in a little bit. Now there's two pieces of data that we're going to need. You're going to need your X and your Y, so column A and column E. If you tried copying directly from column E and pasting in, watch when I paste that all these numbers are going to change. They're like, wait a minute. So let me hit the undo button. The reason they changed is because this is the average of your previous three columns. When you move that over to column I, it's going to look at these three columns to try and get the average, not these three columns. So the quick workaround for you, and this is a nice trick for you when you're working in Excel, is you right-click and then you paste special. And you want to paste just the values. So you're telling Excel or Google Sheets, forget about the formulas, I just want the numbers. So you right-click, paste special, values only, and that should give you your values. So now you've got what you're going to use for your X and Y values. All right, but you don't want to copy the X and Y values themselves. I'm just going to copy this much. On our announcements page, I've got a link to a Google Doc. You've already opened that up. You're going to answer some questions regarding your data. The first two questions, and this is kind of cool that we're recording this, are test questions. You should know, what does R tell you about a regression? What does R mean? What does it stand for? What's it called? That was stuff that was in section 10.1. The 10.1? Yeah. What does R squared tell you about a regression? What is R squared called other than R squared? It has a nice $10 word associated with it. These are good test questions, so that's why I put them here to kind of give you a heads up and force you to recall these things. Now from there, you're going to paste your values, from your data into here. And these values you're going to use in a place called Desmos. Now there's a link to Desmos here on your announcements page. If you're not already signed up with Desmos, it's a good idea to create an account. They will not spam you. I've used Desmos for years. I don't think I've gotten one email from them. So you can sign up with your student ID. The advantage of that is you can save things. Now, I'm assuming that at this point you've copied your data here for columns X and Y. We're going to put it into Desmos because it's just going to be terribly easy from this point. So paste it in there. When you paste it in there, it's going to do two things. First of all, it's going to create a nice XY plot. And secondly, it's going to give you a graph. And this is your graph. The reason we're using Desmos and not StatDisk is because it's going to make it easy to do a couple more things. One of them is to add a regression. If you take a look here, up above to the left of your table, you see this add regression. You'll also see that down here in the instructions. You're going to add first a linear regression. So let me go back here, click this. It automatically throws in a linear regression. Now, how's that linear regression doing? Is that a good fit to our data? It's not bad, but I'd probably shy away from saying it's a great fit to the data. Now, other than the graph, is there something about the data here that says it's a decent fit? It's not a perfect fit. But what of the stuff that we've covered talks about how good of a fit this is? You can take a look at R. We got a pretty strong value for R. What does the negative reflect here? What's a negative tell me about my data? Thank you. It's got a downward slope. Now there's two things that I'm going to expect when you talk about, how good the fit was, and that is one of them would be the graph, and the other one could be r and r squared. You should talk about both of those as part of your answer here. But you might notice this isn't a great fit. So let's try a different fit. Now there's actually a lot of different models that you could choose from, and you can play around and see that some of them work pretty good. But the one that came to my mind first was this exponential regression. So when you click your drop-down menu, you can go down to the exponential regression. You're going to lose your value of r. Why are you losing your value of r? Because the linear correlation coefficient is for linear data. We don't have linear data. We've got this. Now in our case, we end up with 80.38331 times this number to the x power. That's our model. That's going to tell you how high the ball is at any particular bounce. So here, 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 here. Beyond just the graph, what else tells you that there's a good fit to the data here? Somebody said it. R squared. What's the most that R squared could be? 1. Are we kind of close to 1? That's amazingly close to 1 for data that you just collected out in the hallway by kind of roughing it and eyeballing it. That's really a really good fit. So what do you suppose the 80 stands for? What's the 80.38, stuff like that? What's that roughly approximating, do you think? How much? The y-intercept. What's the interpretation of the y-intercept for us in this particular problem? Anyone? Nothing? All right. I'll give you a couple days to think about it, though. Starting point? How high was the ball when you dropped it? 80. So your regression is telling you, yeah, about 80 is where you started. Okay. But you're going to have to think a little bit about what this term is doing for you on each bounce. But put your answers in here. When you're all done, export it as a PDF. Tell me if there's anyone in your group that did an outstanding job or otherwise. And export it as a PDF. When you're done with that, go to, let's see, where is it? The announcements page. And let's see, there's a link right here. So you can hand that in the assignments folder, just submit it, and you should be good. Questions on that? I'll give you till this Friday night.